Hi, I'm Daniel Rivera. I'm one of the audience members. This is the rest of the audience. They will state their names.
Hola, mi nombre es Gabino.
Alberto Callejas.
Olga y Flor.
Hello, welcome. My name is Oscar Morales, and today I will talk to you about a personal experience of mine. This is my artifact. It's a scarf. It's from Pathfinders. So this represents a huge part of my life, almost all my life since this point. I want to talk about what is Pathfinders, how I got into Pathfinders, how I wasn't really a great kid when I first started off in Pathfinders, the memories I had in Pathfinders, and how Pathfinders helped me grow as a person. So what is Pathfinders? Well, Pathfinders are like Boy Scouts, basically. We do knots, we go camping, we get honors like patches from baking to soccer to archery. There are different classes in Pathfinders also. The classes are Friend, Companion, Explorer, Ranger, Voyager, and Guide. And the ages are from 10 to 16 years old. Guide is the last class, and those are the 16-year-olds. The only difference between Pathfinders is that Pathfinders is Seventh-day Adventist, which is my religion. We initiate, it's like a Boy Scouts, but we do it more in Christ. We follow our leadership because we want kids to be inside the church at the same time while they're having fun. The reason I got into Pathfinders was because my parents were Pathfinders. My mom was a Pathfinder, my dad was a Pathfinder. There were leaders in the Pathfinder groups. They were directors, they were counselors. They coordinated a huge camporee one time. That's the reason why I got into Pathfinders, because they're the reasons why they brought me into them. But being the son of an ex-Pathfinder, you'd think I'll be good at being a Pathfinder, but that's not true. I wasn't really a good kid when I first started off. I was always rude to my counselors. I made one of them cry actually, because I was being so rude to her. I was always talkative. I was always the guy who kept talking to everyone, getting them distracted while our counselors were teaching the class. In Pathfinders we march. The reason we march, I'll get to that later throughout. But I didn't know why the reason we marched back then. And every time we were marching, I would always talk back to the marching director. Always talking back. Always making fun of him, saying yes ma'am, no ma'am. Just cause even when he was a guy, I didn't want to do events most of the time. When there was events, I didn't want to do knots. I hated building stuff. I didn't like doing that kind of stuff. I really didn't. And I camp. When we went camping, I would usually disappear from my club. I would just leave my club and go to other campsites, just talk to people that I met throughout the years. I would always play games, sports with my friends, and I just leave the chores behind in my campsite. One time, I left to go play soccer, and it was a big game, and everyone was playing. And next, I was goalie, and then I grabbed the ball, and next, I just see a foot flying right towards my eye, and that's when I got hit in the face. I was on the ground. I'm like, I know I'm okay. I was wearing Ray-Bans by the time, and I was like, I hope my Ray-Bans are okay. But in my mind, but yeah, I got a black eye, and as my punishment, they didn't have sympathy for me for having a black eye. They punished me because I went out and didn't tell anyone that I went out, so I had to clean up the dishes. At night, Saturday night, when camp was ending, I went out with my friends. We all dressed in all black, grabbed water bottles, and there was events going around at night. And then when we see a group of people, we just pour water bottles out on them, and then we just started running away. One time we threw water on this group, and this group started chasing us. And then me and my friend split from our friend group, and two other guys were chasing us. So we were running, and then we ran towards a camp, and they had a huge bucket of water. And my friend was older than me, so he was faster. And next thing you know, I see him trip and knock over the bucket of water, and everyone at the campsite was shocked. And then they're like, "Stop that kid! Stop that kid!" And my friend just kept running. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept running with him. And we just disappeared, and then throughout the night we just kept wetting people everywhere we go. So I was a troublemaker. I always wanted to have fun. I didn't want to I didn't want to be responsible when I was at camp. But like everyone, I grew out of that troublemaking experience. I grew up. I realized that I had to set an example to the other kids. I realized that I have responsibilities to show that to show them. That's when I start. That's around that time when I realized I had to set the example. Was when my brother joined in Pathfinders. I was around 15. He was 10. Then that's when I realized I had to mature to show that I'm now taking care of him. That it's my responsibility to take care of him. So I always looked out for him. Make sure he didn't get in trouble like I did. Make sure he didn't talk back. Make sure he wasn't rude. And then that's when marching came in. The reason we marched, that's when I found out the reason we marched was because marching showed us discipline. And marching did show me discipline. It showed me to be respectful to others. And that's when I started teaching marching to others. I started teaching kids. I started acting like a counselor. I was a guy in the last class, and I was about to graduate. Sadly, I didn't graduate because I didn't finish my class. But hopefully this year I will be able to graduate. Then I started helping out more in church. I started helping out my friends because Pathfinders showed me that I should be helpful. I should help other people all the time, and I should be involved inside the church more. This is why Pathfinder is my personal experience. I told you what Pathfinders was. How when I first started Pathfinders, I was rude. I was a troublemaker, and how during the ends of my Pathfinder years, I changed and became older, became more mature, became more respectful. If it wasn't for Pathfinders, I don't think I would have stayed inside the church. I think I still would have been that rude little kid, the troublemaker, the one who always talks back. Pathfinders changed my life, and I'm glad I had a personal experience with it. Thank you. And